nanoCAD is a product that deals with all vector entities. So let's go ahead and have a look on nanoCAD. So here it is. This is the product. This is called nanoCAD. Here you can see the versions of nanoCAD, and the full name of the product is nanoCAD Pro 8. Pro is for professional. So in nanoCAD there are two different flavors, Pro and Plus. Plus is without 3D and parametricity, and Professional is the ultimate versions where you will get 3D tools and parametric tools. So let's go ahead and so I will go on this video. I'll try to give you a brief idea about the whole product, and on some other videos we will discuss a specific topic in detail, but on this video we will discuss only the gist of the entire nanoCAD software. File formats. nanoCAD supports DWG files. It produces DWG, it's DXF, and it takes DWT to carry the user settings. So this is very much same with other CAD system. And DWG support in nanoCAD, if you compare with Autodesk AutoCAD, nanoCAD will support latest versions of DWG files that you can open and you can update. If I go to import, these are the file formats that you can import into nanoCAD. You can import DWG, DXF, CWS, that's a file formats coming from Image, and DWF and .plt. So these are the file formats that you can import. If I go to export, so here same, we can export DWG, DXF file formats for other systems. Now I'm just moving to the next step where I have a sample files, DWG sample files. You can see these are DWG sample files. The interface is very similar. In left hand side I have properties and command. I can access from the toolbar. I have menu bar and I can type the command to execute. So I have this DWG file with some architectural details in the file. Sometimes we have different properties of text, objects, walls and other things. So sometimes we use resources from out of the CAD applications. So when we send that kind of saved DWG file to any of our client, they may miss some objects to display on their local CAD system. So they may generate some proxy objects in the file. So it is mandatory that you are sending correct DWG file to your clients, combining all the resources you had used in your file. To handle these situations in nanoCAD, we have a function called eTransmit. What it does, eTransmit is actually combine all the resources you had used to produce this file one single tab, so that you can select all the items that had used in this file and say OK to produce a zip file. So now I have a zip file that I can save to anywhere on the local system. So I set the zip file, and if I go to the zip file, I have the folder open. So this is the zip file. If I double click on the zip file, I can see the objects inside this zip file. So you can see the DWG file, one text file, and the fonts, and the SHX file that holds all the properties of that particular DWG file. So you are sending a bunch of supporting files along with the DWG files to your clients. So this is basically mean that you are sending all the resources that you had used in a one specific DWG file. So in that way, that particular client will never produce this proxy or miss any objects on their local system if they open that particular DWG file from that particular directory you had sent. Moving further down in nanoCAD, we can discuss few things like we have some functions in nanoCAD that will allow you to retrieve DWG objects from an old corrupted drawing. If you have problem opening any DWG file, you can audit and remove the noise, or you can basically go to recover and take such files to remove noise and open that file and start working again. So if you have some files which is not working correctly or opening on other CAD system, you can bring that type of CAD files into nanoCAD to remove the noise and to start working with that file again. So file recovery system in nanoCAD way much more smarter than other application. And at the same time, if you have opened certain files and you need to audit the entire file to find the error you have on this file, so you can audit the file and you can say yes, I want to fix errors. So now if I go to the report, so it's telling me this file is having 0 error, and so it's all okay on this file. So if you have a file and if you audit the file, they may give you some errors, and that you can fix using the nanoCAD file recovery system. So nanoCAD file recovery system is something that you can use for your corrupted drawings. You can also convert all entities to two-dimensional plane if you have certain objects, certain model or big drawing, and you are thinking that some objects may be on different plane. All you need to do to go to two-dimensional plane, select all the objects and press that convert to 2D two-dimensional drawing. So it will convert all the objects on the same plane. So this is quite handy. And one more thing about file sending, exchanging, converting, on this aspects, you can use functions for PDF as well. So in PDF functions, I have an example of PDF that we generally use in our workshop. So this is one PDF samples. If I open the PDF, basically this is a PDF. This was generated from some CAD applications, this PDF. So now if we need to work on this PDF using nanoCAD, basically you need to bring the PDF, you need to import the PDF from that directory. So I have the PDF, this one, and once I click the PDF, so nanoCAD does support multi-page PDF. If you have a multi-page PDF, all the PDF page will be open here, and you need to select the pages you actually want to convert into CAD. You have options. You can choose the parameters, scale, and click OK, place it, and give it a few seconds of times to convert the things. There you go. So we have the same PDF content, but the entire file is converted into CAD now. Remember, there is no data loss. So you have all the objects now. You can actually start working on these files to update things or remove objects or add objects. So this is how the PDF import function works. You have internal plot functions. You have internal PDF plotter functions that you can use to create PDF from nanoCAD. Okay, so let's go further down. I'll use this window basically to show you the functions to create geometrical primitives. So this is the list of geometrical primitives you can create in nanoCAD. Basically, it's a whole complete list of geometrical objects creation tools that you can use to create a part, and from there to create a assembly. So you have all the geometrical functions. The way we use functions in nanoCAD, it's very straightforward, and the user who has experience on any CAD applications, they will find very easy to use nanoCAD in their drawing department. So basically it works the same. You can actually take line functions from this and start drawing lines. You can take functions, the same functions from the toolbar, and you can start draw line. You can press L enter, so you can draw the same thing, and the command line works the same. If I take command line L and I want this line should start draw from 0, 0, that's the coordinate starting point, and it should go somewhere 1000, 1000, 1500. So the line should be here somewhere. So this is the line I draw. So if I can use identify the coordinate, ID, enter, so I can see, yes, it's X and Y. The value is showing. Y is 1500, and ID, the coordinate should be 0, 0. Yeah, that's correct, 0, 0. So it works the same. So this is true for all the geometrical primitive creation tools. So you can try yourself. I'm sure you're gonna have fun with all of this. Now let me show you a few more things on this draw. In nanoCAD we have great functions that we use. That's table. Table is a functions. Most of the CAD tools, these functions are available nowadays, obviously, but in nanoCAD this table function is way much smarter than any of the CAD applications. Why is that? You have options. You can either create tables like this. You can create table graphically. You can write the number of rows and columns on this and create the tables like this. So this is your table. The point is that when you double click on the table, some dialog box will open. This is basically a Excel sheet. It's a spreadsheet. You can consider this, the entire dialog box, as a spreadsheet. You can calculate, you can increase row, column, you can put data, so it will work. I'll discuss in detail of nanoCAD table on other video. So I just give some data on it, double click, and I want things should be moved to Excel now. So it will push all the data to Excel. The interesting thing is that if you send this data to someone in your higher authority to check the document, they may need to update something in the Excel after, when they check. So once they send the updated Excels to you, you can make a link between drawing and the Excel document. So you don't really need to type anything. You can directly, so there I have all the data in the Excel. So I may need to increase the text height to some extent, so 10. So the same thing in Excel now. So all you need to do, just take the Excel from drawing to Excel and send to the department. Once they check and update, that you can use as an input of that particular drawing. For example, I have Excel files with this bill of materials, and I want these informations to be incorporated with the drawing. So all I need to do, just go to draw, table, and there's options, import from Excel, click OK, and there you go. So now once I place the data, and now you are actually in sync between this Excel and the drawing table. So if you double click and if you update the Excel and then you press this button, so once you press this button, so all the update will come automatically from the Excel into this table. The table will get updated automatically if you have updated anything, right? So this is quite useful if you are dealing with BOQ or any other data tables. So that will be very useful in nanoCAD. So okay, moving further to the dimensions. So now if we have a part or assembly, now we need to dimension all of the objects. We can use each of the objects to dimension using all of these functions. These are all very similar. If I go to dimensions, so the dimension dialog box is also very similar to other CAD systems. So you may have used this kind of environment before. So just if I double click, I just click on the modify, and now I have a window where I can update the scale and text and everything. So this is okay. Now I'm going to create a dimensions using, I have tools that I can use, and I'm sure that you had used each of the items, each of the annotating tools. But here I would like to show you auto dimension. This is something special in nanoCAD. If you choose auto dimensions, you no need to think about anything else, because this is one dimension tools will allow you to do any kind of adjustment to produce, to create the dimensions. So now I'm just moving the cursor on a circle. The same functions will give me the diameter, and it gives me aligned dimensions like this, and I did not change the tool. This is horizontal dimension, this is a vertical dimension. The same functions will give you angular dimension, so I just need to adjust. That's it. So this is the angle. The best part of this function is that if I have a combinations of objects and I try to use the same functions, all the dimensions will come in one shot. If I go this way, that way, so the dimensions will come automatically. So this is quite handy. This is a small adjustment you can do in your design or drafting, and you can save time. all of the users can save time. These are all handy tools we have in nanoCAD, right? Going further to modify segments where we will have some assembly or parts and we need to update certain objects, then we can use the modifying tools. Trust me, all of the smart tools we have, these are very smart. Well, you know, just have a look on one simple tools that we have two lines like this probably, and we need to make a fillet on that. If we press F enter, so instead of command line we have a box now, and we can set the type of fillet we need. We can say that we need 5 units, and so things are getting handled from so this is the fillet. These portions are coming because I chose that way. I want fillet to be stay this way, so I can choose this and say fillet, so the extended part will be, you know, removed. So these are all smart tools we have, all are dialog box based. So whenever you try to modify certain things, it will be dialog box, and you will be able to choose different options from us for a specific task. So this is quite handy for any users. Now we have 3D tools also you can create. I will definitely come with a complete video that will where I will describe how actually we create 3D models and in nanoCAD, and what are the modifying tools we have. But trust me, in nanoCAD we have 3D tools that no other general CAD application can provide, because in nanoCAD we have something less than what some SolidWorks or Inventor does, but obviously what we have in nanoCAD, that's always more than what we have, you know, in AutoCAD and other CAD applications. Why is that? If we take an example of a small plans of any shape, because nanoCAD doesn't care actually. Any type of shape, say I have this particular shape, object shape. So if I need to make a 3D model, if I need to make a of any objects or anything, I just need to make a shape and just extrude that, and we can create a lot of things, automated things from there. This is still conceptual 3D, but this is more than what we have on some you know, popular CAD applications nowadays. So let me make let me draw one more shape. Maybe this is, or I can take a curvature section, then line again. So maybe this is my object shape, and I want to extrude the objects. So I'll go to 3D and extrude. So I have a single dialog box where I can find cut, subtract, union, all things in one single dialog box. So I need to select the face of the objects. That's it. So I want it should be increased to 6,000, maybe 10. So now if I need to go to minus distance, that I can select this plus this, fourth face this. So now I have the objects, right? So I can click this to view the objects in shade mode. So I can create the 3D models using these tools, and we can create different views, like we can create All you need to do, just select projected views, select the objects, and you can see it's giving me all the views. So depending upon the site, you know, the viewing side, it will create the viewing objects automatically. So this is 3D in nanoCAD. I'll come up with a different video where I will show all the 3D functions of nanoCAD in detail. Okay, let's move to some other tools. I'll draw some circles on there to show you the constraints we have in nanoCAD. In nanoCAD we have constraints. That's parametricity. If you are drawing some parts and putting those parts into assembly, and if you make some relations between one or more objects, it will be much easier for you when you update certain portions of that drawing. So once you try to update certain portions, that will reflect to the other part of that particular assembly. So this is quite useful for any of the drawing or design companies. So let's use there's two different type of constraints. One is geometrical constraints and other is dimensional constraints. So if I use one geometrical constraints and telling the objects that center of these two circles are always will be on same point. So no matter what, if I drag this circle somewhere else, the bigger circle will follow. So it's only the insertion points. I have no problem if I can change the color or I decrease the radius somewhere, but the only thing is that if I move any of the objects, the other will follow. So these are some parametric and dimensional constraints that we can use. Now in nanoCAD we have functions for images. These are not as complete set of objects for raster images as we have in voice image, but these are few functions that will always help CAD user even with the image quality improvements or stitching two different images or maybe merging some vector into raster. So let's talk about merging the vector drawings to raster, or removing some raster into nanoCAD. Let's open a Raster Image. So I need to do open. I can take any of the examples. So this is one raster image I have. Now just consider that I need to delete this plot. This is in raster basically. This is the raster image. This is the raster image. So in other CAD system I only can view, but in nanoCAD basically you can go to this and you can say bridge. So you can actually delete the whole raster rectangles like this, and now you can say draw a layer, and you need to draw something like this on this block. I can increase the width to some extent, say to this, right? And now you select this, you need to match these things. I mean all the changes you will perform on this image. After that you need to rasterize. So once you click rasterize, this is now raster. So this circle is a part of this raster image now, and the rectangle is removed, right? So this is quite useful. And there is other functions, other very useful functions, like if you have more than 2-3 part of scan drawing, you can copy or you can bring all of the raster images into one workspace and align them and use these functions in nanoCAD called new image from selections. It will give you options to choose a paper size. If you don't know, just press OK, because it will take some time and it will match the 3 different raster image into one. So now you have one single image, right? So this is quite useful. The raster functions in nanoCAD. Going further is point clouds. Point clouds is something you take a picture using 3D camera. 3D camera will always collect different points at different elevations. So when you bring all the points into one, on the basis of one particular point, it will form 3D objects, not the 3D objects from where we get the volume. It's only the visibility of that particular point gathering will be shown as a 3D model. So in nanoCAD we have full support of point clouds. You basically cannot convert those point clouds into 3D model or get some other informations about the model into nanoCAD, but you can always view and you can get a concept from those point clouds data. So if you have a point clouds and you want to view and get some idea or study the points, then nanoCAD is fine. But if you need to create a model from nanoCAD, from the point clouds, then you should try nanoCAD 3D scan. nanoCAD 3D scan is a big application and it will help you to create model from point clouds. So that's a different application, so we will probably discuss on another video. But here in nanoCAD you can import such point cloud data. I have few of the files, point cloud files, that I can bring in. I can go to I should go to this, and I have the point clouds here, samples. I can take any of the examples. I can take PTX for examples. These files are quite heavy. This is almost GB or even more. So it will take some time to generate the preview. There you go. So now it's telling me that the altitude of the points, maximum and minimum altitudes, and some other informations. Now if I click OK, the points are getting placed into the nanoCAD workspace to form the model. So now here you can see the model of that particular establishment. You have options to change the color according to elevation, so I change it. Now you have idea what exactly these objects are. So if you zoom further, you can see these are some plant piping, process piping systems. So now you can see these are some space available. You have, these are the pipelines, but you will not get the dimensions in nanoCAD, but you can actually visualize the whole thing. But if you zoom further, these are only points at different elevations. right? So this image were generated from 3D cameras, right? So you can use nanoCAD as a point cloud viewer, so you can get reference and plan accordingly. So there is a support of point cloud data in nanoCAD. I will discuss one more points in nanoCAD, because this is quite heavy files. This is from one of our customers. They're using nanoCAD. This is quite heavy file, almost 50 megabytes. Because we in nanoCAD we have seen that people are working with heavy files, and they are using different templates and scales, and produce a number of layouts, printouts, and drawing gets heavier. So this movements, they always have issue with this pen in other CAD system. But in nanoCAD, this still the movement is quite good. So the entire applications will take less than 500 megabytes space, but the applications is very good to work with the heavy files. So if you are working with heavy files, then I think nanoCAD can give you some phenomenal experience over other CAD applications, right? And these are, if you are having some issues, you can always go for the help index. And video subsystem performance check is something that if nanoCAD is not performing well for any reason, you should go to this subsystem performance check. It will check your system and will suggest you some settings, and you should apply and go ahead with those settings. So that will always increase the speed of your design process. So these are a few other things that you can check out. So this is all for now from nanoCAD. These are all starting from the DWG and the drawing tools, modifications, and the dimension tools, 3D models, and parametricity, raster images, and point clouds. These are all quite smart in nanoCAD, and nanoCAD is keeping the mind, keeping things in mind that user need to use only the things is matter to them. So nanoCAD is fully designed based on that, keeping in mind the users. This is very compact, so the things are there only people need and they use in general practice. So this is very compact and straightforward, and yet powerful CAD applications for any designer.